think Brazil has a big bull riding competition. They have a just depends on the events.
I like the song you chose today.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank y'all for tuning in to Shoes Off Talk. Man, we got some special guests on today. But before we go into that, Brother Tim, how you doing, sir?
Good, and you? Good, and you? I'm
Man,
excited about today's
oh
show.
my gosh, man, I know the lovely Christy. How are you doing?
Fabulous. I dressed to impress our guest today, so got my cowgirl hat on.
She don't know one thing about it. she like, I'ma look the part.
All right.
I look the part.
Hey.
That's what matters. That's
Hey,
what matters.
me and you both.
Hey, what you don't know is that my dad's a cowboy, so I do know a thing or two.
Oh, you guilty by association?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 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 And across the room, um, introduce yourself.
I'm Paula. I'm a world traveler. I don't know much about rodeos either, so I'm on that team.
So, Paula is with us today because, along with the other parts of the series on Black culture, we're going to venture into travel and how important that is in the minority community for us to get out in the world and get educated about not only our culture but other people's culture as well. So, you know, she is going to be the tie-in and the lead-in to the travel segment of Black culture. Um, who is our special guest that we have, boy?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have Tuffy and
Shahid,
Shahid. Thank y'all for coming in.
no
You're
problem.
welcome.
Thank you, thank you. So today, like Tim said, we're talking about black culture, the rodeo, and let's go ahead and start off. Tuffy, can you give us a little brief, just a little brief about yourself?
Well, I grew up in Arizona. My mom and dad, my dad came from Detroit, and my mom come from Oklahoma. So, and I was born here, and I learned how to ride in South Phoenix.
I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I moved here in 2009, got my first horse in 2012, but I don't really consider myself becoming a cowboy until I ran into these guys about, I think it was about 2019. That's where I learned that I didn't know much about it. I just was a black man with a horse, but when I got with them, I really started learning the game, learning the culture. Then now, I'm kind of teaching now, so.
Okay. So is that culture? Um, is that universal when it comes to a certain type of group, or is it just more so?
I mean, everybody's they cowboy different, but I mean, around here we based out of the night ranch. We got a little bit of everything all around. So when we go to rodeos in different parts, I tell them like we outside cowboys. So it's like when we outside, it's not a controlled environment. We don't get to dictate what happens out there when you jump in that saddle. You just be prepared for the ride.
What does night ranch mean?
That's the name of our ranch, the night
Oh,
ranch.
okay.
Yeah,
It's called the night ranch.
yeah.
We say things like as we get a lot of cowboys to come out, and they think they really cowboys, and they get there, and we do logos like this. Many have came, few have stayed. That's the killer part. So what they want to learn and what they don't want to learn, it's not that. It's when you get in that saddle, you ride, and what comes at you is what it is. We've been places and go to other and showing these other cowboys different riders, and as they ride, they can see how much they have cowboy skills. We went to California, the boys just shut there. And we was like, I told you. You know, we go to Houston, Texas. Them like, where'd y'all come from? Where you crows come from? Because we're called As the Crows Fly. So as the crows fly means you can, from whatever destination, the shortest distance. So that means over the mountain, round the mountain. You know, crows can't be stopped. Crows are in every state. And when a crow start hollering, they go one crow, two crow, three crow. So people usually get like, here them crows, here come them crows. So, you know, but also we want to teach them the root of it. Ride that horse. You know, take all your frustration out of it. You can come from the projects, you can come from anywhere. Whatever you got going on, it's in that saddle.
So do you like when you like talk to them? Do you like explain the history of rodeo, cowboy, and
What is the history? You know, since we're talking about that, let us know what the history is, because I can honestly say when I found out about this show and I started really digging into the history and just even the word cowboy, I was really surprised at what I found. So give us some history about where cowboys came from.
Well, from my understanding, a cowboy was a person that he stayed out there in the middle of the field with the cows. He was the boy. He wasn't a cattleman. He didn't run nothing. He just took care of the stock like he was stock. So when you had the guys that was bulldogging and they had rodeos, they wasn't allowed to ride with the white rodeo people. So when that's done and they close it down, then all the black folks come out, and then the cowboys do their thing. They have the raunchiest bulls, they have the raunchiest horses. So that's when the culture started. And then they're like, hey, if you was working with the army, you was the boy that broke all the horses. So you broke all their horses while they on the trail. Your horses just bucking and going. You get 3 or 4 days, and then you turn around and you hand it to a white guy and say, "Here's your horse," and then he thinks he's a cowboy.
So the word cowboy actually originated with us, the name that was given to us.
Yes, it did.
Right.
So then it got popularized, and then they kind of took it and glamorized it with in Hollywood and things like that.
Of course,
Get the
that's
John Wayne and all that stuff.
well, that's the reason why we started. You know, I was so passionate about doing the Black culture segments, is that a lot of our culture has been stolen from us, and you know, a lot of people have this misconception of what our Black culture is, and it's coming from a place of what they choose to allow us to have as our culture, and it's really not the truth about our culture. So that's why this was so important for me to do the series on Black cultures, to where we can educate our younger generation and even some of our older generation that don't really know the truths behind a lot of our Black culture and where it originated. Um, who was you, before we came on, we were talking about how the Black rodeo originated in Arizona.
Well, I'm going to tell you who runs the Black Rodeo now. Her name is Annette Campbell. She's a strong black woman, and she runs it, and she runs it all. She's the pure owner, the founder, not Tuffy. I just support. So when we support is to stand behind her and do what she asks. Now she's on the road with it. She goes to other places and come back around, and then they do. And now ours has just got just as big, and it's a sold out thing.
So is she affiliated with all of the Black rodeos in the country?
Now,
or-
she's Black Rodeo USA. So she's the founder director of Black Rodeo USA. So any rodeo under the umbrella of Black Rodeo USA, Lynette Campbell that's the lady in charge of it. Yeah.
So is it broken down into cities, states, or regions, or?
Yeah, so in February, I believe that's the start of the 2024 season, and then they'll start in Alabama, kind of work their way back, and then we'll end in October in Las Vegas.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow. I went to the one here a few years back, and I also went to one in Austin, Texas, and the one in Austin, Texas was really like a show. Like, um, I didn't really get a chance to spend a lot of time at the one here because I was moving between, something else I had going on that day. But um, man, it's crazy to me. We were talking before we came on the show, and I didn't even really know. You hear people mention, you talk about Hollywood and how they've stolen a lot of the culture as it pertains to the real cowboy and the black rodeo. Is we was talking about the Long Ranger. Give us some history on that.
I thought that was clever of them. I really did, because that's the only way you was gonna hear that story. You wasn't gonna know about Bash Reeves unless they covered it up and put the Lone Ranger in there. But as I knew when I was coming up, I knew who he was. I don't know how everybody else, because if you get in that argument and say, "Hey, the Lone Ranger was a black man," oh, they go crazy. So you just let them have that. Just keep that wool over there and be like, "Hey, now it just came out today." So when I get done with this, hey, my phone is finna get ready to see this and see what he's talking about. Right. See if they really portrayed him as he really was, him and an Indian. I thought that was good. There's other people that they do other things with, and they're like, "Oh no, that's not who that is. This is who it is." But you ain't gonna get publicity if you don't use this type of person here.
When as it pertains to the black rodeo and cowboys and all of that, is there what part of history that you feel like it's important that people should know about?
I mean, it's a lot. It's so much. So even in respect to the black rodeo, you get a lot of people that are kind of skeptical about the idea of. They think it's like an all black rodeo. And the black rodeo is to highlight black cowboys, and because on this national rodeo circuit, a lot of the black cowboys they can't get in those doors. So it's like, okay, well, we're gonna do our own thing. And now that we're making some noise and it's getting out there, it's just like, well, hey, it's shaking some things up now. But I think just the history, not even so much of the history, it's the now, the present is what they need to know. Because if you, like, for example, for me, yeah, I knew a few things because I was, taught my history growing up. But even now, under guys like Tuffy, you learn the history. So it's not so much about shoving the history down the throat just from the jump. Like, just get them in the door.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Let's just
Right.
have fun right now.
Right. So
Learn about it, and then the more you learn about it, you learn about your horse. You learn about if you were stuck, if you had unity. We go camping together. Once you start doing all those little things, people be like, "Hey man, we just want to come and hang out." It's so easy, but if you tried to say, "Hey, I need you to read this, and I need you to know where you come from, where you this, and where you that at," they're not gonna bite. Them youngsters ain't gonna bite. But if they think they can get on, ride dirt bikes, just do anything outside besides sitting in the house playing a video game, they're gonna go crazy. Just like she just did. She just went crazy. She said, "Oh, here they come. I'm going crazy."
We talk about that a lot. Is that how do we get our kids interested in getting out of the house, and we have this narrative of as parents, I think it's our responsibility as parents to have our kids want to do things other than being at home. Is because we see it when we go out to eat. First
Well,
thing
what-
a parent do is just push a phone or a tablet or something in front of them.
And we get this, but what happens? The first thing to me is no one has the time to get the information. When we was coming up as kids, it came across our schools.
Yep.
Boys and Girls Club, this, that,
Salvation Army.
Salvation Army, all that stuff came across. Not our parents didn't have to say so. We had the information. We went down there, you sign up, you get your Boys and Girls Club card, and then they say, hey, we want to go do something. Somebody, for like when I came up, guys at the stable had a stable. I went riding one day, and they said, hey, you got to do some work to ride. Kids this day, they don't want to have to do that. But if you get one or two attentions, then they come back and they say, hey, I had so much fun. He has a little young cowboy with him now. First day, bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Oh, man, bite the bullet. He said the tree grabbed him.
Put him on the
I
ground.
said, wow. I said, did he? So he tells us the information. We look at this young man, and we see if we really want to deal with him. Tell us what kind of heart he had. Tell us, was he going to cry about it? Did he get back up? Was he still willing to ride? And man, this little young cat, he just like, hey, I don't want to be at home no more. This is what I want to do. So therefore, we're already starting our brain. We got to find him a saddle. We got to keep him on a horse. We're going to tell him he needs to clean the stall. We'll provide some things until he get on his feet. And when he gets on his feet gradually, in a year, he'll be off and he might go and buy him a truck. He done changed up his whole thing. Hat won't be like yours to the back. He's like, I got a truck. And when you get a truck and people pull up on you, they change when they see you. That's the coldest thing about the culture, is when you're not acting like everybody else, they change when they see you. People go, how you doing? Howdy. They might do it in fun, but they really mean it. Hey, how? Hey, where you come from? They pull you over and they ask you, where you come from? I'm right here. I came out of Matthew Henson Projects. For real? Yeah. I was a little kid throwing oranges at everybody. Yeah, that's who I was. Once you get that and you start teaching them and molding them, that's how they grow. They don't get to see the first three of us. We let them see guys like him. He can relate to them. I can relate to him. Then he relates to that person. And then that guy will see another guy and he can relate to him. And then they be like, we go out and we go ride and it'd be 30 deep.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember when I first came around and how they were schooling me and giving me the game, and now I was thinking about it just the other day, like, man, I got a tree of my own. I got students of my own. I got Andrea, Chris, and now I got another little young boy that I'm bringing around. So it's like, and I call them my OGs because I got so much respect for them, but they be pushing stuff off on me. Like, nah, talk to him. Like,
Yep.
I'm like,
Did you see me do you
I'm
like
trying
that?
to get permission.
I was like, no, you don't talk to me. Hold on, let me give you a number.
I'm trying to get permission from them, and they like, nah, go ahead and handle that. But it just shows like now it's a different level of responsibility I have because they putting their trust in me. So I got to make sure that I'm, that I'm representing them correctly.
How,
Right. Go ahead.
how did you get into this? Like, what was the interest?
Well, as a kid, my father always used to watch westerns, so I always was intrigued by the idea of a cowboy rolling up, kind of like the superhero image. And I met a guy. He owned horses. I was just taking my at the time girlfriend out for a ride for her birthday. And my brother was like, I know a guy that owns horses, so he connected me with him, and then I had just stuck around, and I had been just ended up getting my own horse. So when I came around them, I actually had my own horse, my own saddle. So they kind of looked at me like, okay, he already got his own a little bit ahead of, but then that's when I learned, like, well, I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. I'm wearing this wrong. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? But, yeah, that's how I got started. And then, but like I said, I was driving down Baseline and I saw two 2 black guys on horses. So I jumped like, hey, where y'all? Where? Because you want to feel at home. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like I
exactly.
had always had a horse. I was riding, but it was just occasionally. It was just like, but now I could just go up to the ranch and never touch my horse. Just make sure she's fed, got food. All right, and I'm at home. I'm hanging out, making sure everything. If we need any help along at the ranch, things like that. So that's how I got into it.
So it's basically a culture within the culture,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
it's a family thing.
yeah,
It started to be because sometimes some people just don't match.
Right.
yeah.
You know, if the guy don't want to listen and he just want to be all right, I think it's time for you to vacate. You can vacate some of them because sometimes a couple apples will spoil the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we have done that a couple of times. We told guys, hey, you just don't want to listen. You just keep on thinking you want to know it, and we're just gonna cut ties. We'll see you when we see you, as the crows fly.
So you said something very important, like when you were speaking about, the OGs and everything. It's something that you said. He's like, there's levels to this.
Oh, absolutely.
And you hear it being said all the time in life in general, and it was just funny to hear you say that there's levels, and shoot, I could I could comprehend it because I could just look at me getting in it, and I'd be at that one rung, that the level down here, that yeah,
Clean the stalls first.
the beginning.
Yeah.
Where do you see, you having as much history as you've had, in this, where would you like to see this go?
What I like to see is my kids to have it. I work on a higher level. Like I have 3 acres. I have a home, plus I have property. So, like he said, there's levels to it. So, I follow somebody else that has more, and they tell me this is how you have to go and go get it. So, I don't anticipate what he got going on. I'm too busy I'm scouting Arizona, and I'm looking at that. So, what I want to be able to do is give that back. It's like, hey, we got camping. Oh, well, I got a place we can go camping. We don't have to worry about it. No look over our shoulders. I want to be on the north side, way out anywhere. Just buy it, and you just sit on it, just like a 401k, and you learn to sit on it. So when you giving it and your kids get it, and hopefully they appreciate it in the long run. It's like the older people did. They bought land. By the time you get up, you learn to work hard. If you keep it, you work the land, you got something to give back. You got somewhere to go. It's like just the way this place is going now, it's hard to buy something. These little gated communities, they're killing them. They're packing them in. And now they don't have no social, no nothing like other countries. Where she come from is open. And Arizona is the bleed off from everything. And you want to have open. And when you have open, you can have great family gatherings. And it doesn't have to be just your family. It can be everybody that comes in this pot. And they can be like, hey, I'm sitting back. I got good food. I'm drinking. I'm talking. And we're not talking just about nothing. We're going to talk about something that's going to educate you and tell you, hey, I saw this land over there. You want to go in half on it? Go to the bank, get you 5,000, get you 10,000, pay it off. Now you half in. Now both of you can't sell it because you're half in. That's what I learned on the hierarchy of mine. 40 acres, split it. Here we go. Like JC said, teach you about credit, get land.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear that. Everybody wants to hear, hey, I got gold, I got dingles, I got a car, and it appreciates. But that dirt ain't going to appreciate, and that's what we need to teach our culture that we started. Land is not going to appreciate. It's how much you want to put back into it.
It's funny you said it because we were talking about when you talk about the gated communities out here. I first moved out here in 94, 95, I-95 when I got out of the military. And I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, the I-10 stopped at baseline. There was no Elliott, Warner, Ray, Chandler, and it was all cotton
Field.
fields.
Yep.
And it's so funny to now see the growth from back then to now here to where it was, when I got here, it was a country.
It was.
It was the country. Like
It was
Gilbert
the
was
Silver,
all farms.
Avondale
Yeah.
stopped at 19. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know, all this stuff that's coming in, and then you going like, but one thing that they can't do, they can't outlaw us from riding anywhere. That is one great law that we could ride downtown, we could go anywhere.
I did not know
wanna
that.
They didn't want to kill their culture. They didn't want to kill their culture to being cowboys to ride everywhere. So therefore, we get in our trucks. We just say, we ain't even on a trailer. Let's just ride downtown. Police just looking. They're like, oh, look at all these black. Where did they come from? Going across the bridge. Where did they come from? You know,
Wow.
Miss Chauncey Ray. She used to be like, I used to ride over into projects and go see. And she's like, here he comes. Who is that? They go Tuffy. And I just be like, yeah, hey, we can go anywhere we want to go. Spend the whole day. Start off at 6 o'clock in the morning. Don't stop until 6 o'clock at night. Having a great time.
Wow.
Kids don't get that. You know? So we give back. And we'll go buy a horse and it don't matter. Hey, here we go. We have our own rodeo days. That's how great it is on our thing. They say, hey, you gonna go to well, we have our own rodeo days. We go buy a horse and I drive way over and load them up and pull them back and go, pick one. And they all be sitting there going like, oh my God, what was getting ready? Y'all ready, boys? This is how they used to do back in the day. Pick one. We're going to get wild around here. Horses just bucking. One might get bucked off. He'd be like, hey, you next.
Look,
You next. I need to get out that level.
Because if I'm next, I'm like, maybe this ain't for me.
With the bucking, do you feel like the machine is the machine bucking
The bull thing?
Right.
Nah, this is totally different. It's totally different. You even have the girls to get in.
Yeah.
We got a girl. She is bad out this world. And she'll tell you, don't pull them. We
Yeah.
try to hold it,
Yeah,
hold
trying
the
to help.
rope.
She don't want no
She don't
help.
want no help. She be like, hey,
Let me have him.
we got some bad girls. When we went to California, California didn't have bad girls to ride. And you would thought they would.
Yeah.
We was riding in, where did we go?
Paris, California.
Paris, California. And they was riding them mountains. And them boys was like, hey, they going up. I said, we do as the crows fly, baby. You don't want to get this. You think you want to talk to her? Chase her up the mountain. They come back down. They're like, hey, this is something else,
Now, do they like do like the female cowgirls? Do they do competitions as well?
Not our girls, but there are girls. It's like the Blue Jays. They're from California.
Bluebirds, yeah.
Bluebirds, you know, they come down. We associate with some of the rodeo people that come down and they're like, they get with us and they be like, hey, we just like y'all family vibe, you know, at the night ranch. And they come out, they hang out, and they sit around and they be like, hey, when we hit Arizona, we'll talk to you guys. All right, then we get to know them from Kansas to Oklahoma, anywhere. They hear as the crows fly, they were like, oh, yeah, we know them. So,
How could Sarah, if someone wanted to just go out to the ranch, is that something that they could just be like, hey, let's go out to the ranch, or is there a process to get to the ranch?
I mean, it's really based on feel. I mean, a lot of people say it, but you can kind of feel them like, yeah, you don't really want to, because it's like when you're out there, you're out there. You can't. We're not policing how people talk and how they, you know, if you can't. Many have came, few have stayed. You know what I mean? So you might come, you might not want to stay. You know what I mean? So like, but yeah, you get people that want to come and just hang out. Some say they want to ride, but like for me, like the ranch, that's like my second home. It's like home to me. So I'm protective of it. You know what I mean? We don't just let anybody come, you know, driving down that driveway. So it's just a feel thing. You know, if we feel you out and we feel like you can hang and be around, and yeah, it's the address.
So say like if I wanted to grab like 10 kids and be like, hey,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
let's go out and
definitely.
take a tour and see. Is that something that I can just
We're
do?
welcome
or-
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, our biggest thing is giving back to the community and introducing this life, this world to our people. Because I mean, like, it's so many times I'm just out riding, and they amazed, like, I didn't know they were black cowboys. You know what I mean? So it's like, yes. So
We give back to any kid that really want to ride. I when we say our people, it's our people means they want to ride.
right.
If we have a little Mexican kid, he comes out, Santiago, he rides. He's a little autistic kid, but he rides. If anybody that wants to ride and learn how to ride, I have no problem giving them a gift. It's a gift that keeps on giving. You know, I'm a little particular about who I ride with.
Yeah, you don't get to just ride with
Yeah,
Tuffy.
you don't get to
Like, yeah.
But if I allow him to ride with me, it's because I saw something that he's making. And I looked over at the kid and I saw him and he just stands there and he just looks at me and he wastes his patience and I just look at him. Then sometimes I walk off. Then I look at him. Then I might say, go saddle that horse. He's running and I'm going like, what's taking you so long? Quit looking back at me. They get the blues with me, you know. They like, oh man, the girls get the blues, you know. I remember I am the breaker. I got 2 other levels of breakers. You got one, Mr. Knight. He can talk to you. He can talk to anybody. Then you got another uncle of mine. His name is Billy. He can tell you all the dreams that sometimes I be thinking. Tell him, hey, you like a professor. Quit telling all these folks what we did because then they think they can do it. So I push that button. If you thought you knew something, I'm going to see if you really know it, and I'm going to push that button. You know, if I tell you, hey, let's saddle this horse up. Like, say if I had her. I say, hey, come on, let's saddle this horse. I'm going to show you something. I said, you paying attention now? And she's like, yeah. Saddle the horse up and everything. It looks good. I unsaddled it. Put the saddle on the ground. Pick it up. Saddle it up. But you just did it. Sound like you don't want to ride with me. That's the kind of guy I am. So when they get a chance to ride with me, then they like, hey, he's learning. The line be quiet. It'll be really quiet, you know. But that's just okay. But then now, you know, we got my little boss man. You know? So one day I decided to ride a coat with him. Right? I says, hey, I was told by my boss to go and evaluate you guys. So he decided to run me through the stickers and get me. So I had to go back and tell David. I said, yeah, they ran me through the stickers and stuff like that. I said, next time I'm going to ride my good horse. We're going to change this scenario. He just laughed. I said, no, come on, let's go riding. I got up early Sunday morning. None of them didn't show up. He was like, hey, he's going to kill your horse. You said that right.
It sounds like, you know, there's a great level of respect that people that work with you, that are associated with you, have for you. And like you said, once you get involved in doing this and you see the work and the passion it takes to get in it, for someone like Tuffy that's been doing it that long, there's a level I don't even know, right. and I got great respect for him, you know, and it should be an honor to be able to ride with you, to be able to get that knowledge from you, because you've earned it.
Yes,
you've earned it, and I think it's important that we talk about this all the time as we talk about giving the one commodity away that is the most valuable, and we give it away like it's free, and that's our time.
right. Yes.
And I think it's important when you know what your worth is, that you do make people earn it. You are particular about who you ride with or who you teach, because everybody's not going to be conducive to learning,
right.
and it's not it's not respectful that you take time out of your schedule and have gone through what you've gone through and reached the level that you have reached, for you to have to spend time with someone that's not interested, that's not retaining. And so that I
But even at the same time, like if he was just riding with anybody, I won't be able to. I won't learn things about teaching. You know what I mean? Because what he's taught me, I'm able to teach the next person that's coming up. Like just as far as the giving back, like they put me on, and you know, like now you need to be riding with this type of saddle, this type of bit, this X, Y, and Z. So now, you know, when I was in a better position, I had a new, you know, kind of student come around. I was able to just hand him my horse. Hey, you trying to get in the game? You know, you want to here, take this horse. I'm in the market for a new horse anyway. You need something to ride. There we go. So what that does is, so now him, when he's in that position for a new horse, here you go. There's a new horse. Here's this. Here's you know what I mean?
it's so funny that that I hear you guys talking about horses and stuff, and that I hear y'all talking about horses and stuff. Like y'all just going to Walmart grabbing 10-speed bikes. Hey, go grab that bike, that 10-speed and give it. Like, is it how easy or difficult is it to choose a horse?
I mean,
It's very easy.
Yeah.
It's more easier than what most people think. I think the hardest part is where you're gonna keep it.
Yeah.
How do you choose a horse?
how much time do you want to put in with it?
I choose a horse. It doesn't matter to me because I'm a rider.
Right.
It's like a guy that's a race car driver. He don't really care what he drives as long as he knows it can get up to 100. He can will it any kind of way. When I have to work with people, I make horses size up to people, not the person size up to the horse. But when you become a rider and you become a real breaker, I expect you to ride anything that I bring to you. I go to the auction as long as he's got 4 good legs, and he looks like a horse. Walk him, bucking and all. Now it's about you controlling the brain.
How can you tell when a horse sizes up a person that a horse will be good with the person? Like a new,
So
someone younger.
I have a new student, and I had a colt of this rodeo, and I needed a rider, and I didn't have a student, but I had to break the colt. So either I'm going to do it all by myself, and then this lady in the middle of the night stopped me, and I says, I'm going to make you my new rider. So I made a woman a rider. So horse just going and bucking. I go and work it out a little bit and give it. Then the colt, it was easier for her to catch the colt. Then now you know they're sizing up. Or I go out there, zoom, zoom. I then have to get a lasso and rope them. Once you start seeing them and them two just buddying up, it's like a puppy. They start hanging out together. But if that means, if you got like say if you had a gentleman and you and the puppy settle up and the puppy runs from him, you know that puppy don't work for him. Puppy works for you. So that's how horses are. So if you find a horse that's docile and he's lazy, I'd be like, here you go. Now you get one that's really hyper and he's really hyper, and I'm like, hey buddy, you'll teach you how to calm down. And you be like, whoa, 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 whoa. So you'll get past that in a minute. The more you ride it, the more it calms down. That's how I'm at that level. Now, he's a different kind of level. He got young people, way young people. I think the oldest is what, 12, 13, 14?
Yeah. Well, now my new guy, he's 22.
Right,
But
but
my
that,
students are 11.
So do you pick the horse for your students?
For that young, yes. You know what I mean? But then now they get to a level where, like, if I see some things and, you know, most people, they, whoa, and, you know, I just sit back, like, she working it out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't got to run over there and say, but she working it out. Because she don't even know what's going on. She She just in the saddle and moving around a little bit. She don't know the horse bucking and want her off. She know how to sit the saddle. I taught her how to sit the saddle. She know how to calm a horse down. So she don't know that the horse is trying to buck her.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And you just see things going on, and you just sit back and we just watch.
You might have somebody over here. They in panic mode. Oh,
Mom in panic mode. You like, calm down.
Like, she got it.
So what person makes the best student? Someone that comes in that knows a little bit, or the one that knows nothing?
You just gotta have the want for it. Like when I was just out riding with my newer. I'm trying to make him into a cowboy. He's not taking lessons. For him, it's just like, I got a new horse that I need work to work. You want to be a cowboy? Come on, get on. When he hit the ground, he got right back up. I had to tell him, whoa, check, make sure you ain't got nothing broke and check yourself. He got back up and rode, and I told him he got heart. So
I think the person that doesn't know nothing
right
makes the better cowboy over somebody who's going to tell me what they read and what they did.
See, that's the reason why I asked that question, is because, you know, a lot of stuff that I've been involved with over the years, whether it be the military, jiu-jitsu, or different things that I've done, the person that comes in with the least amount of experience is the one that is the most trainable, because they're not set in a specific way that they've done things and think that that's the way that, you know, we're going to do it now.
Yeah.
They're
So
more
what-
open-minded.
So what I do for people like that knows things, I just change horses all the time. I give him a different horse to. He's like, oh well, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh okay. Saddle that horse up. I give him a speed racer. Tell me how you set that saddle. Well, it was running everywhere. Okay, and I go get a ball buster. It just hits the ground, and every time he hits the ground, you feel it. You walk in, and your shoulders is hurt. Tell me how that worked for you. Then I get him one that won't turn to the left or the right. And he's like, he wouldn't. I gave you 4 different horses, and if you can keep complaining about all 4 of them,
The common denominator is you.
is you. It's such an easy task just to do it, and it's like, okay, well, just sit and ride. The longer you ride, the more they go, oh, the sun is beating me down. Well, what happened to that cowboy hat I asked you to wear? Well, I don't want to wear it because it don't. Oh, okay. Everything is okay. And the more you do it, oh, well, you got stalls to clean. I'm tired. Oh, okay.
The more you finding out that
The
this ain't
more you do it, the better it gets. After they say, many have came, few have stayed. You just weed it right on out, and you be like, all right, next. Hey, can you ride that horse over there? And a little kid might come in, and the kid don't want to say nothing. And it just ride, and they're so happy to ride. And they're the easiest one to train, because all you got to do is just put them in a round pen, put them on a horse, and tell them to ride. And they ride so much when they get in the car, they do like this. Simple.
Yeah, it's I have zero desire to ride a horse. For the simple reason is, like, I'm curious, but I literally had 15 surgeries, over 30, 40 broken bones. I think my next injury might put me in the grave.
But you do juicy.
Yeah.
See what I mean? That just don't make no sense.
But I
You
feel
got
like,
somebody who's getting ready to kick your head off, chunk you around, put you in the full nesting, and you finna fight out of it, and you telling me I can't get on top of him and ride him?
well, you know, I think a lot of people have this issue. I think it's more of a control issue. Like with me, if I get on a mat with somebody, I can control a lot of what goes
You
on.
can control that.
And see, that's the part that people don't know about. They think like me and
Yes,
that
sir.
horse is on 2 different wavelengths. Like anytime he decide he want to just take off or kick me off, then
And you're on a football team, like I tell the dudes, is football player. What's that guy from the Cardinal that came by?
Kelvin Beecher.
came out and rode. Oh, we talked him in on the horse. Come on, come on. I kept, you're a big dude, but I'll take you down. You're only about the same size as a horse. I'll take you down. And he kept saying, hey, man, you sure is picking on me. I said, you just don't know who I am. I stand all up on him, and he just got, I said, man, undo that collar a little bit. Tight collar. I kept messing with him. He kept saying, hey, man, you sure is. I said, I'm not the normal. And then we saddled up a horse, and then we made him get on the horse, and he said, I ain't never did this before. I said, quit being scared. It ain't like you ain't never hit the ground before. Somebody run you over, you hit the ground, boom. That's it. You get back up, and you get back to the line, and you do it again. How many times you can do that? You can do that quite a bit of times. You're going to win. Now, after that, all you got to do is control the brain.
Where did the name Tuffy come from?
I had a cousin named Chauncey Ray. He was a fireman. And my mom was his best cousin, and they was cousins. So I took that name from him, and then I rode the horses. And then they took that name, and they made it like, hey, he the toughest kid on the block. Because I was with a whole bunch of Europeans, and I'm the only black out there riding. So therefore, you already know I'm going to get the name calling. So let's get it in while we're going to get it in. So then I became really good at riding horses. Instead of me saying, hey, I'm hanging in the projects, I had something to do. And then me and my uncle, I come home, and I did it in 95, and then I came home, and I said, I'm going to buy horses. This is the best thing that I ever done in my life. So I bought horses, and we've been riding horses since then. Because we rode horses when we was kids, but we just took it to a different level. And then we met Mr. Knight. And when we met Mr. Knight, we was riding in the Southwest Riding Club. There used to be, before the Crows came, there was the Southwest Riding Club. And then we had another young man that came in, and he used to ask us, where we going? And we said, hey, we're going to go as the Crows fly. And then he just came with a shirt one day and put it as the Crows fly. And they said, are we a club? Nah, just a whole bunch of family dudes that hang out. We don't play no dudes. We get stripes around. We get some crazy stripes. Like, say, rattlesnake day. Say you run across a rattlesnake. You up, kill a rattlesnake. Learn to survive. Oh, it's a crazy thing. You got guys out there that got jackets. You see them. Rattlesnake going. All you got to do is get a couple of rocks and throw it at him. Knock his head off. But you will run. Look at him. He paused. He paused like what?
It's so crazy. It's crazy that we're talking about snakes, because I will wrestle a bear. I've stared down the barrel of probably 5 or 6 guns in my life. I'm a 2-tour combat veteran. I've done a lot. I've worked in the prison. I've done a lot of dangerous stuff. A snake is not.
I know. But
like if you just, I fight 5 guys at one time.
I get it.
Not a problem.
But
I'm not messing with no snakes.
I hear that.
Can't do it.
Hey, I laughed.
You don't have to skip me on that day.
But I laughed at his video because they was teaching him. They was teaching him. It was like, oh yeah, skin him. He was skinning him. His first snake, he was skinning him, and then the nerve jump. He said, "Oh, They said
please tell me there's a video floating out there.
Yeah, they go. What you jumping for? Jay sitting at the table, and Jay said, "What you jumping for? He's dead already." He said, "Oh man, I thought he was getting ready to move off the table." Oh man, I laughed. I said, "Is his head was off?" I think his head was still on.
I think he still had his head.
Yeah,
but I hit a nerve, so the whole snake just vibrated.
Yeah, he said, "Oh."
First of all, I wouldn't have got to that point, but if I was able to get to that point to where I'm skinning him, that nerve that I hit killed the whole forever. I'm never coming back to the ranch. I don't want to mess with no snakes. I don't care if it's a play snake. Just leave me alone. That day was the one thing that scarred me for the rest of my life. What?
What?
And wore it like a badge. Yeah, yeah. Not coming back. Period.
Oh man, I just die laughing because we go to places and they're just hearing and everybody's like, whose turn is it? They say, how do you do it? Watch this. Beep, beep, beep. And get him up. What? Snap his neck. Now his student
Threw it at me.
he threw it at him. He said, snap his whole back. He said, what?
Snake coming right at me.
Oh no! Man, are you? Oh. He said he go like this. He go, what happened? I was just nervous.
I got scared, man.
So I have a question. How many times have you guys been bit?
None.
Never?
Never. We got videos. Guys got them in the water,
Wow.
standing on them. One of our best guys is Jay. JT. His last name is Thews. He had one. He just was drowning in the water. He's fishing. He ran across the rattlesnake out there at the lake. He just drowning in the water. Just held it right there. And then go back, and then we have hats. You just put the band on there. You know, I have a pink rattlesnake that came way up from Flagstaff. And now you have your own little trophy to say what you done in life.
Where can we buy these trophies at? I'm getting mine off the shelf. Look, no, I need somebody else's trophy. When you retire, just give me your trophy. I'll claim it as my own.
But I think you know, for me, I think that's some of the wild. I pray that everybody never gets bitten if they listen, you know, because you can be from here to there and just chunk a rock, you know. Everybody, I mean, I'm a project kid, you know. I chunk rocks like crazy, you know.
Tuffy, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Personal question. You don't have to answer. But what happened to your fingers?
I work at a dairy, still work there, and it's United Dairymen of Arizona. And in 1996, I listened to somebody, and I stuck it in the star valve, and the star valve falls in it, and it's supposed to, and it grabbed my fingers. So it nipped my fingers, and it's supposed to kept going nip, 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 and they go, man, you're a strong man. And I go, what are you talking about? He says, how did you was able to pull your hand out of that star valve when it's supposed to just? I said, I don't know.
So it keeps pulling?
Yes, because it just keeps turning. But I am, as my friend David says, I am one of them kind of strong kind of country boys. You know, when we get things done, it's like, well, I got a friend over here. He's heavy-handed, and he's going to get the job done. So, you know, that's what I did. So,
Thank you for sharing.
but I use the kids, and I tell them my mom cut them off. So we get some really bad little kids or something like that, and they come out to the ranch and they talking trash, and I says, hey, you hold his head down. I said, my mom cut mine off, I'm gonna cut yours off. Are you gonna listen? Yeah. I said, you see, 3 times I wasn't listening. And I'm talking to you the first time, and you better listen, or I'm gonna cut your finger off. And then you'd be like, you know, that one right there, he's wild with the beads in his chin. I said, yeah. I use it to my thing, you know. I'm not no roper. I do know how to rope, but all that stuff is it's just good living. And if anything's far from the heart, that's what that is. It's still far from the heart. You can lose the whole hand. Far from the heart. What am I gonna still do? I'm gonna get out there and ride. You know what I mean?
Is there any, for our listeners and viewers, is there any documentaries or movies or things that are close to, you know, our truths about, you know, our history with the rodeo and cowboys that you could recommend people to watch?
I like The Harder They Fall. That was a really good movie. They represented, you know, they introduced the historic black cowboy characters.
I love the Buck and the Preacher. That was my time in here. If y'all know Buck,
Say that
Buck and the Preacher.
Buck and the Preacher.
Yeah,
I
it was
have
a
not
black
seen that.
cowboy movie, Buck and the Preacher. Most of the times is Long Ranger was mine. Even though when I got older, I learned about John Wayne, but John Wayne was mine. Gene Archery was that's the only thing you had.
Yeah, that's what
You get
gun
what I'm
smoke
saying?
and
Fun
Yeah.
and
So
fun fact: my dad was on the movie The Cowboys. He was one of the kids
Right.
on The Cowboys with John Wayne.
yeah,
So he was a
Your dad
yeah.
was.
My dad was.
Yeah,
He was one of
that the
kids.
Cowboys was a big killer. I used to be like, man, I'll be like them Cowboys. I'll
Yeah,
be running through there, But that's kind of stuff that I did. That the Applebee's gave me the opportunity to ride on South Mountain. They used to have a big old called the Mountain Men. It was big in Arizona. One of the biggest clubs. It was called the Mountain Men, and I got a chance to go and do things like Wickenburg ride. They have the thing in Wickenburg. It's a parade and stuff like that. So therefore, for me to give back to my culture now, is we go and do the Wickenburg. While they're out there, we out there, and we started out. You send one crow, two crows, four crows. Now to be like, hey, their whole little camp be gone, and we be out there in the desert. Be like, hey, let's party up because we got our own trailers, we got our own everything. So therefore, we can't be stopped.
look that for people that is there a website or tell us how people can get in touch with you guys if they're interested in
That's
getting
Mr.
involved.
Shaheed now.
Yeah, we run our programs out of Instagram. We are the Flying Crows on Instagram, FLYINGCROWS, and also TikTok. If you want to send us an email, theflightofthecrows@gmail.com.
Is there any major events coming up?
We're in mid-December. We're working on our annual Family Day. This will be our second annual, where we just give back to the community, bring the horses out, give back for the holiday season and whatnot. So that's coming up in mid-December. It'll be posted on our pages. The exact details.
Okay. Man, I really appreciate you guys coming in. It was a wealth of information, and I love the fact that we were able to, the whole purpose of this is to educate and motivate. And so whenever we can learn about our culture, and basically how to get involved, man, it's always a good thing. What we're with these segments, the Black culture segments, we say it's 6 parts, but it's gonna end up breaking out into being more than 6 parts. And this was the part, the Black history, culture. One of the next segments that we have coming up is I found that with me being ex-military, dependent, a military brat, then I went to military. The thing that really kind of helped me in life is travel. And so I met a friend the other day and got to talking to her, and I really feel like a lot of the displacement and the ignorance, so to speak, that's going on in the world is the lack of education about other people's culture. And so I brought Paula on the show today. She's going to kind of segue into our next show where we talk about culture and how important it is for the Black community and other minority cultures that may feel like travel is not accessible to them. So I want to have you talk a little bit about it and your experiences, and do you think that this is important in the Black community and in minority communities? Because listening to your story, you didn't come from a family of money and all of this, and so how were you able to do it?
Absolutely. Thank you for the invitation, Tim. I do agree with you. I think that traveling challenges your views of the world, the things that you think are normal or common. A lot of times are things that we've learned to normalize just because we've never seen anything different around us. And when you allow yourself to be exposed to other cultures, other foods, other music, other traditions, you realize that a lot of the things that you've normalized and you've learned to believe in 100% to be natural, normal, and common is actually something that's built and that has been placed there and has been there for so many years that just people forgot someone created that and put it there, and now we think it's natural and normal just because we've never seen anything different. So I do agree with you. I think that the level of education that you can get from traveling, it basically changes your view of the world, your mindset, your whole experience of life in general. So I absolutely agree with you. I do not come from a family of means, and I come from Argentina, which basically means that we have learned to live with a very raging inflation. I don't know if anybody knows a little bit of Argentina, but we've got like an insane situation going on, and it's been going on since the 2000s. So we've all kind of learned to be resourceful and to like make the most of other things around us to replace that lack of income or that lack of opportunity, because like you don't have it, your friends don't have it, your family has not had it for a while. So when I first went out and left Argentina, I had $1,000 in my pocket. I had never camped. You guys talked about the ranch and the wildlife. You would have laughed at me so hard. Yeah, I mean, my idea of bears was Yogi and Boo Boo, and just, oh, they're so cute. Yes, I wish someday I get to see a bear. Like, no, it's not what you want. So I had $1,000 that I saved up from a summer job. I bought a backpack and a pair of boots and a train ticket north. And I told my parents that I didn't know when I was coming back. I was going on my own. And I had $1,000 and I had to let them know when the money was running out because that was time to come back.
That's deep. I wish my kids would do something like that.
Yeah, how?
I hand you $1,000. Go ahead and just learn somewhere.
I got this trip for you. I got it covered. I got.
See Yogi and Big Boo Boo somewhere out there.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
I literally called them and I was like, look, you guys, I'm 23 years old. I'm an adult. I'm not calling for permission. I'm just letting you know because I care about you and I don't want to lie to you. But literally the experiences I had, the one thing that I wish the listeners can take away from this conversation is that you don't know your true value until you leave the place where you grew up and you measure yourself against the rest of the world. Because where I was growing up, I didn't feel like I had anything special. I didn't feel like I had anything important to give because it's the community that I had grown up in, and we were all like okay with who we were. There was nothing that I considered special. And I found myself in an island somewhere in the border between Bolivia and Peru, and I realized that I had like the gift of English and the gift of language. And I was also traveling with I used to teach English when I was in Argentina, so I was traveling with all my books and dictionaries and in a little pen drive, and I ran into this woman who was just asking tourists to teach her one or two words every time they came by so that eventually she could get to speak English fluently enough to tell the story of her own people. Because the tour guides that were there were coming from the big city. They didn't know. They were lying to the tourists, but because they spoke the language, they had the resources to do it. So I found myself in this little island, and I'm like, I'm an English teacher. Do you have a computer? Like, I'm going to copy all of these files and these are the websites that you need to go to and the dictionaries. And you do learn that you have a lot more to give than you would have thought if you had just stayed home. So that's what I hope to share today.
And it's important. I'm so glad that first of all, thank you for coming on the show. And I think it's, it was near and dear to my heart. The traveling aspect of life is because it taught me so much more. It taught me the things that I wasn't learning in school, and wasn't gonna learn. I don't care how many levels of schooling that I went to. I did not get the education about cultures and just the world, um, like I got when I actually got out and traveled. And so um, I really want to push that narrative with doing the black culture thing is like you were saying earlier. It's like we got all this fancy jewelry. We go out and buy these shoes and got to have the nice car and all these things. And it's really just a matter of setting aside a few dollars and getting yourself a plane ticket or a bus ticket or a train ticket and just go see something different. Go see the world. And
Go taste the food. Go
exactly.
taste the food.
Go taste the food in other countries so you can see how bad ours is.
So true.
But and that's a whole nother subject because we ain't gonna even get into that. I can eat stuff in other countries that if I ate it here, I'd be in the hospital. And so that's another thing is like, it gives you a greater appreciation for where you live, but it also opens your eyes to a lot of things that you would not have known if you had nothing to compare it to. And that's what traveling does. It gives you a chance to compare things that you thought you knew your whole life, but then it allows you to have those views from a bird's eye view from having traveled there.
Absolutely. And it also allows you to choose. Do you want to go back home and continue being the person you've always been because you choose that identity and because you want to stay there? And now that you've seen there are other options, you still want that? Or do you choose something different for yourself? Because now you know that it isn't the only option. There are other options out there.
Yes. And so I just want to thank you for coming on the show. And like I said, that is a segue into um, another, episodes of our black culture is really inspiring people to get out and see the world and travel and educate yourself. Want to thank you guys again for coming on the show, man. It was amazing. It was so amazing. Like I said, we are definitely gonna be in touch because we got some things that we want to do in the community, and I'd like to get you guys involved with it.
Reach out to the
Yeah,
This is that young boss man.
We're gonna get Tim to the ranch and get him on a horse.
Look, first we gonna go to the state fair and that horse that that goes around in that little circle and somebody in the middle just holding on. Let me start there first. Let me start there first. But I am one of those people though. I don't like to say that I don't like anything or I wouldn't enjoy anything until I do it, and then I can really say if I like it or not. And so
We'll bring enough pressure. We'll see if we'll bring enough pressure.
hey, I'm down. I'm
Snake
down.
somewhere.
Hey, we don't have to have a conversation before I come out there. But once
And a
again,
camera.
I want to thank all the guests for coming on. I want to thank our hosts, Christy, Floyd, and all of our guests that have come on our previous shows, man, because it really is about educating and motivating, and we love when we can bring basically subject matter experts on the show that can give us the know-how and the first-hand experiences. So I just want to thank you guys again for coming on. Stay tuned. We still have other segments of black culture. You guys may be coming back on if your schedule permits. Also, reach out to us if you guys have anything going on that you want to come on the show and talk about. We definitely want to provide that platform because we wouldn't be doing ourselves justice in talking about we want to inspire and educate our black community if we're not providing them the means to find out about this information. So we appreciate you guys. And we want to thank all of the listeners for tuning in today. Like I said, we welcome all of the comments, whether negative or positive, because we understand that's the only way we're going to build a product that we will be proud of. So as we end all shows, we end all of the shows by saying love, peace, and soul.
Love, peace, and soul.
So as we end all shows, love, peace, and soul.